So this is the second video in a series on how to purchase a good violin online. And in the last video, I talked about the differences in violin acoustics and sound production, and I also talked about how to find violins online to try out. So make sure that you watch that video before you watch this one, because in this video, I'm going to be talking about how you can actually listen to different violins online and make some decisions. So first of all, I'm looking for a violin for myself for a specific mission, so I'm using Fiddler Shop, and you can go on their YouTube channel and look up a lot of videos and find specific violins where they are comparing for their customers. So what I would do is go through their website first and kind of find the violins that are in your price range, and then go over to YouTube and you can just type in Fiddler Shop and Amati traditional violin, or whichever one that you're looking up, and you'll start to see some comparison videos. So when you're watching these violin comparison videos, the Fiddler Shop representative will play kind of the same thing on several different violins, and then at the end they usually give their thoughts on those violins. But I want you to pause the video before you get to their final thoughts, because I want you to come up with your own ideas and your own thoughts and your own summary of each of those violins. And then listen to the representative's thoughts. They're often very informational, but I want you to make sure that it doesn't sway your opinion first. Now, when you're listening to these different violins, I suggest getting a notebook or a piece of paper and writing down the name of each one that you're comparing. And give yourself plenty of room, because you're going to be doing a lot of writing. Now, you can also write down the timestamps where each violin is starting to be played. For instance, oftentimes they'll start with a scale, and I like to compare just the scale to each violin. So I'll write down the timestamp of where each scale starts so that I can go through and just hear scale of violin 1, scale of violin 2, scale of violin 3, and really compare the sounds when they're playing the exact same thing. Now, of course, it's great to go through it once and just listen kind of with an open mind, but then when you really start wanting to get with specific, write down the timestamps and jump that way. Now, I want you to be very descriptive when you are writing down the differences between these violins. I want you to imagine that you are trying to describe sound to someone who can't hear. I want you to be extremely descriptive, as if, think of like a wine connoisseur or a coffee connoisseur, how they write about wine or coffee. It's very descriptive, and I want you to be that same way. And I've got some words to give you an idea of different ways to describe sound. So for instance, a violin could be focused, broad, brilliant, warm, sweet, powerful, clear, balanced, rich, complex, deep, smooth, sparkling, edgy, mellow. Or if you have more negative things to say, you might say that the sound is muddy, one-dimensional, shrill, bland, muffled, weak, or maybe shallow. Those are just some words to give you some ideas. Now, you'll often find when you're listening to lots of different violins, it's not necessarily a case of eliminating the bad ones. They'll all probably sound pretty good to your ear. It's more of an idea of picking out the one that really stands out and that really speaks to you. So what you'll often find when you have gone through and listened to a lot of violins and written your notes down is there's usually one or two violins where you've written a lot more than the other violins. And you'll find that those violins maybe have really resonated with you and really spoke to you. So those might be the ones that you want to do a little bit more research on. Maybe those are the ones you want to purchase or get for an in-home trial. Now, don't spend too much time listening at any one sitting. You definitely want to give your ears a break, because if you do this for too long, you're going to start to feel very overwhelmed and everything will start to sound the same. So definitely go with your first gut instinct for each of the violins. Now, you could do this forever and keep listening and re-listening and finding new videos, but eventually you do have to make a decision. So just kind of remember, go with your gut feeling and what violin just really feels right for you. Now, I'm going to be going through this process just like you are, so I will let you know which violin I pick.